Welcome back to normal baseball. Mike Yastrzemski's walk-off splash home run has us asking the question, are the Giants really legit? Joey Votto returned to the Reds, and they are now in sole possession of first place in the NL Central. And Luis Arraez cannot stop hitting. He went 5 for 5 last night. He's now batting over 400. We're about to talk about all that and more. Welcome back to normal baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And another day of baseball. It was a Monday, so not as many games go on Mondays, obviously, but we still have a few storylines from the day. So enough happened. Enough happens every day in baseball. And let's get right into it. So obviously, what might have been the most exciting part of yesterday, the biggest moment in a game, possibly, Mike Yastrzemski, tough name to pronounce.
Yeah.
A walk-off 3-run home run against the Padres. The Giants take game one of the series, 7-4. The walk-off splash was crazy. Bottom of the 10th inning, Giants have runners on second and third, and just crushes one. Lands right in the water perfectly. Giants walk it off. They've now won, 8 in a row?
Yes.
They seemingly cannot be stopped right now. And honestly, this makes me ask the question, are the Giants legit? Are they a legit contender this year?
I don't think so. Like we covered yesterday, I do think that eventually something is going to run out of gas. It's just a matter of what it'll be. Yesterday I said that it was their pitching and their approach to the game. However, so far they've been proving me wrong, and obviously that so far is only one game, but they've been holding back some pretty mighty offenses. If you think about the Dodgers and now the Padres, they held back until their essentially last inning to play. So I have to say, although the Padres were leading that game, I do think their pitching looked very good and very sustainable. Obviously, when you run into some of the best hitters in the game right now, in Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis Jr., yes, you're going to give up some hits and some runs, but the fact that the Giants were able to keep themselves in it is what I thought was a really good sign. Now, of course, barring the fact that Josh Hader pitched on back-to-back days going into this, they would have not put, I believe his name was like Curd.
They used 3 different pitchers in the ninth inning, bottom
Yeah.
of the ninth.
Yeah, so barring that
Uh,
Josh Hader was not uh, needing a rest day, honestly, then he probably would have been in there, and we would be talking about how the Giants just lost their win streak. But because of good timing and everything, they get to live to see another day.
yeah, they scored 2 runs in that bottom of the ninth inning off of the Padres pitchers. I believe it was Luis Garcia, Arlton. Can't say I know his first name. I apologize. And then Kerr. I mean, not a good look if you're the Padres. You had that lead pretty much the entire game. Juan Soto had 2 solo home runs in this game.
Yeah.
They would have won this. Technically, if you really think about it, they would have won this game if Fernando Tatis Jr. got thrown out at third. He was trying to steal in the first inning. And then Juan Soto hit a solo home run right after. If Tatis didn't try to steal, would have been 1 extra run, and they would
Well,
have
it
won
would
the
not.
game.
No, it wouldn't. It was a 3-run walk-off homer.
No, but they wouldn't have been 4-4 in the ninth inning. It would have been 5-4, and they would have won.
I guess
Yeah,
it's
they
true.
would have never even went to a 10th inning.
It's true. Yeah.
So little things like that. The Padres, just an unfortunate game. If we're talking about the Giants, though, which is more of what I want to talk about, because, like we said, 8-game win streak. They're second in the NL West. No one kind of saw this coming until they went on this hot streak, which I love. I love hot streaks like this from teams like this. I've seen a lot of Giants fans comparing the recent streak to 2021 when they won 107 games. It just feels like so many things go right, and their just play continues to get better and better every night. That there's no losing. Um, the pitching, you've been talking about the pitching. Right now, they only have a listed 3-man rotation. I know they that a reliever started for them yesterday. He only went a couple innings, I believe. He went an inning and two-thirds yesterday. So they did kind of do a bullpen game last night, but their starters have been pretty good. Logan Webb obviously has been dominant because he's Logan Webb, and that's kind of what he does. He's been really, really fantastic this season. Desclafani has been exceptional. Alex Wood's been serviceable, but then their bullpen. You get to their bullpen, and their bullpen's been, you know, nothing short of fantastic. There's a couple guys that maybe kind of go against the curve, but for the most part, pretty incredible. Tyler Rogers and Taylor Rogers both having really good seasons. Tyler Rogers has a 1.6 ERA. Camilo Duvall, can't forget about him. He pitched last night too. He held the Padres. He's got a 1.99 ERA and 19 saves. Incredible stuff there. So I think there is a world where the Giants continue this play up and they wind up sneaking into a wild card spot. Dare I say a division? I don't know. I don't think they have a shot at winning the division, but I think they could definitely sneak into a wild card spot, which I think would be pretty fun.
Yeah, and I feel like the Giants historically even have been one of those teams. Bless you. Historically, the Giants have been one of those teams that you don't really want to let them in. We've seen it time and time again in the early 2010s. They came in as a wild card in, 2015 or 2014? My apologies. I know one of those World Series years where they won 3 and 6 years, they were a wild card team. And it just feels like historically they have always figured out a way to make whatever they have on the field produce wins. And they showed it in 2021 when they won 107 games and beat out the Dodgers. And I think right now they're showing that as well. It's just a matter of how long can it be sustained? How long will it stay this way?
Right. Do I know if it'll stay this way? I don't know. I'm interested to see if they win game 2 again against the Padres. Just it's one of those things where I don't want to really say they can or can't. I'd rather just, watch them every day. I'd rather them answer the question for you. I'd rather not have to answer this question and just see what happens.
Yeah, well,
if I had to go out on a limb, I'm gonna say it's tough because I want to say no. My gut is telling me no, they won't keep this up, and Dodgers will overtake them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at their lineup, and there's actually a lot of guys who are really raking in their lineup right now. I mean, Lamont Wade Jr. has arguably been one of the best first basemen in baseball so far this season.
Yes.
A debatable all-star, which we will go over in the next, probably next week. We'll go over all-star stuff. Jock Peterson's come back recently. He's been good. Tyro Estrada has been one of the most exciting surprises so far. So, I mean, right now I'm going to stick with no. I could wind up being completely wrong. They could continue to play like this, but for right now, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say they're just on a hot streak right now. And I think the Dodgers probably will come and overtake them at some point. But very exciting baseball being played from the Giants, and Yastrzemski walk-off splash was electric. So
yeah, and
I like
it's I agree with you. However, the one thing that I do like to notice is that we, as a collective, as a baseball thought, at least between me and plenty of other baseball fans that I've spoken to out there, believe that the Giants at the trade deadline would be one of the sellers with how good their relief pitching is. With how good they are right now, no way in hell are they going to sell. Especially if they roll into the All-Star break and everything like this, and then continue it past that All-Star break towards that trade deadline, they might even be buyers. It depends on what they really want to do, but I feel like there were a good amount of teams that were looking into the Giants as, hey, if we need relief pitching, that's where we're going. We're going to the Bay to go get some pitching.
Yeah, at this point, it would actually kind of be difficult for them to not be in the playoff hunt come the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I think that's almost guaranteed at this point because of how good they've been playing. I don't see them just, miraculously falling off in the next week, But I don't know. I don't think they will be sellers at the deadline because I think they'll still be in contention for that wild card or playoff spot. So
Yeah.
I don't, as much as, maybe before the season or early in the season we were saying that, I don't know if we can even say that now, you know?
Yeah, it's a completely fair assessment to say that they might not be contenders right now. I mean, they might not be potential
Sellers.
trade targets. Yes, sellers. Sorry, forgot the word for a minute there.
Sellers. That's fine. That's fine. Yastrzemski last night, again, he actually kind of not just did that home run. He had 2 home runs last night.
Yeah.
He had a solo homer and a 3-run homer. He went 3 for 5. He kind of, was the main propelling point for the Giants. But speaking of guys who win games, Mr. Joey Votto has returned for the first time since last season. Joey Votto is back in the Reds lineup. He said a lot of stuff before the game about how grateful he is and how thankful he is to be back. And, especially because the Reds are winning right now. We talked about yesterday that they are deemed as America's team, and they were half a game out of first place. Well, guess what? Last night, the Reds took home a 5-4 victory against the Colorado Rockies and now have sole possession of first place in the NL Central with the Brewers' loss as well to the Diamondbacks. So, Cincinnati Reds and Joey Votto, let's just give him a round of applause real quick.
Attaboy, Joey Votto.
And in case you're wondering how Joey Votto did in his return, he went 2 for 3 with a walk, a solo home run, and a 2-run single that gave the Reds the lead and the win in the end. So Joey Votto came back and made his presence felt immediately.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that.
I do love it as well. I do want to say the part-time baseball player, full-time school bus driver Joey Votto has certainly showed, even though it's just been one game, I think since he stopped playing last year in August, I believe, he has showed that his value that he brings to that team, although he is older compared to the rest of the starting lineup at 39 years old, in baseball terms, yes, you could say that you're old. 40 years old or 39 years old, he's still in the prime of his life, and he's still as entertaining and as satisfying to be around as anybody else. And I feel like that's exactly what this Reds team needs. They don't need some hard-nosed, constantly competing, wants to win, blah, 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 blah. Joey Votto is just there to have a good time. And I think it more than shows, and his presence, I think, will be felt in that clubhouse in arguably the most positive way in all of professional sports.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you the question. First of all, the Reds bench is pretty deep right now. I'm just looking at it right now. They actually have a 5-man bench currently, so have that as you will. Because, we've had all these rookies who have come up and been big parts of the team already. But then you have Joey Votto, who is your veteran presence, who needs to come back, and he needs to go back into the lineup and the roster. So it raises the question of who do you get rid of? We'll see what they do there. But yeah, Joey Votto. I was going to ask you how important is Joey Votto's presence to this team? But I'd actually like to answer that first, if you don't mind.
Yes, please do.
I think that it is one of the most important aspects of this season if the Reds are looking to continue to compete. Obviously, yes, they are in first place right now. Is it a game or a game and a half? They're half a game up. And they've won 9 straight games. So 9 games in a row. Pretty incredible. But I think if they want to continue to compete at this level, playoff contention, they're going to need a veteran presence like Joey Votto. Because before Votto came, the person in their starting lineup with the most big league experience was Nick Senzel with 3 years of big league time. Yep. Joey Votto has 15 years of big league time. So that veteran presence with the amount of rookies and even sophomores, young guys that they have on this team, that is beyond important. That's just the thing in baseball. Having those veterans to guide the younger guys is beyond important. And I think Joey Votto's presence will continue to be felt. And especially if he's playing, I know obviously just one game, small sample size. His OPS is 2.1 something. Small sample size, but if Votto continues to play like this, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time for the Reds. It's gonna be even a bigger plus. So I'm really excited for the Reds. They are America's team. I was watching the game last night, and they're America's team.
Yeah, for sure. I also would like to point out the issue that I had with Joey Votto coming back was the fact that Spencer Steer was going to lose out on playing first base. However, it seems as if the Reds felt comfortable enough last night to put him in left field for a good portion of the game. And then after Joey Votto got pinch ran for after his 2 RBI single, they pinch ran Will Benson and then moved Spencer Steer into first, and Will Benson went out to left field. So it looks like there is a solution and a way to keep all the bats that we know are successful in their lineup still, which is a very, very good sign.
Yeah, there is, and it's one of these situations for the Reds of too much talent because last night they had Jonathan India DHing and Matt McClain played second, but what do you can't have my fault. You can't have Spencer Steer playing left field every game. So when Votto's DHing, India plays second. Where does Matt McClain go? Can Matt McClain play the outfield? I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know that answer.
Would it surprise me if another Reds young guy could just move around the field and play wherever the hell he needed to? No.
No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But I don't know if he's done it thus far this season because right now, out of all the guys, they have Kevin Newman sitting on the bench, which would make sense because I think the idea the ideal lineup or the ideal what's the word situation for the Reds would to be have Kevin Newman on the bench, and then you have McClain, India, Spencer Steer, and
Joey Votto.
And no, De La Cruz in the infield.
Oh, well, yeah.
So that would be your infield, and then have Votto DHing because Votto obviously is older, so you'd rather get Spencer Steer more reps at first base. So right. I don't know. I think there's definitely ways to do it if you're the Reds, but you gotta do it right.
Gotta finagle.
Obviously, you gotta finagle your way into there. Obviously, Votto still needs starts at first base. You're not just gonna have him only DH. So there's ways to get around it, and having too much talent is never an issue. Never an issue. And that's currently what the Reds have. They just simply have too much talent.
That's what the Big Red Machine has. Let's get it clear. Who was on the Big Red Machine train first?
No, you were just screaming the words "Big Red Machine" first. It doesn't mean you were on the train first.
Oh, I was the conductor, baby. I absolutely love how much the Reds are succeeding right now. Obviously, being in sole possession of first place is nothing to scoff at, even if it is just by half a game right now. By the All-Star break, I would love to say that it's a 5, 6, 7 game lead because right now, in my opinion, the NL Central only has one true contender, and that is the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers certainly didn't show it last night. Corbin Burns gave up 7 earned runs, 6 in the first inning. Yeah. So they're not looking too great right now. They're also 3-7 in their last 10. But yeah, like you said, the Reds might only be half a game up, but they've won 9 in a row. So there's certainly nothing to be discounted there. They've won 9 straight games, and it's not even against bad teams. They've swept the Astros.
In Houston, and
in Houston, no less. So yeah, like you said, I honestly would not be surprised if we see a 5 or 6 game lead in Central going into the All-Star break, which I kind of hope we do see, because this team seems to be, just by watching, the best team in the NL Central without a doubt.
Yes.
In my opinion, that's what it feels like.
Well said.
And I love it. I love it. They're just such a fun team to watch. You know who else is fun to watch? Mr. Luis Arraez.
It's true.
Mr. Luis Arraez of the Miami Marlins. So the Marlins started their series with the Toronto Blue Jays last night. And did they win? Fantastic question. Boy, oh boy, did they win. They won 11-0 in game 1 of the series against the Blue Jays. They scrummed up 19 hits, and 5 of them came off the bat of Luis Arraez. Another 5-for-5 night for Arraez, and his batting average is back up to 400. So again, this brings up the question: Can Luis Arraez bat 400 this season? What do we think, Lewis?
Yes. No offense or what's about it. He has proved it time and time again against no matter who the pitcher is, no matter what ballpark he's in, no matter what the situation is. Luis Arraez puts the bat on the ball and hits it where they ain't. It's very simple.
Sure.
I mean, for anyone who is more old school and does the eye test more than looking at numbers, this guy passes the eye test with flying colors. He shows off his power when he needs to. He literally just slaps the ball one direction or the other, and he's on base. He's batting 400, and if you're a stats guy, a 159 OPS plus is absurd for a guy who basically hits, what, 3 extra base hits a week? 2, maybe?
He has 17 extra base hits all season. So
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
he has I believe he has 102 hits right now.
Yeah, I think
So he's just slapping singles, and that's what he did. He had 5 singles last night. He didn't have a. Yeah, he had
no,
five
5
singles
singles.
last night.
Yeah,
Five
I
singles, 2 RBIs.
now this brings up another question of could he contest? Is it Ichiro, I believe, for most hits in a single season?
What is the most hits in a single season? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Let me just go
I
to
would,
which.
I would love to see it because he's at 102 right now. We're in mid June ish, late June. We're in late June now, I'd say. And I don't know. I don't know. If you tell me what the record is, then I can answer that question. But yeah, another thing I would like to say is
I
that
believe. Oh, sorry.
Arraez had his 5 at bats, and then what was his name? Miguel Amaya, I believe it is, came in and he hit a single too. So Marlins second baseman's last night, or Jacob Amaya, my fault. Marlins second baseman last night went 6 for 6.
Yeah.
With 3 RBI.
So unless I'm going crazy, which I might be going crazy,
You are.
the record for most amount of hits in a single season is 262.
I think you can do it
Yeah. I
because say
completely
by the All-Star break he's got to have 130 in order to be somewhat on track.
Yeah. And with how he's been hitting right now, if he's going to go 4 for 5, 5 for 5, or 3 for 4 every day, I think
He's
more
definitely
than
not going to do that. If he went 4
You
for
say
5,
that he's definitely not going to do that every day. Let's be realistic here.
if he went 4 for 4, if he had 3 or 4 hits every day, he'd be batting like 700, not 400.
Let's see him do
you know
it.
what? Do it. Fine. Do it. I would love to see that because I'm going to be watching him in person. They're definitely Thursday, maybe tomorrow also. So, you know what? I'd like to be able to say that I've witnessed part of history, at least one of those hits at some point during the season, because that is history right there.
Yeah, well
And I
said.
think he is on track. He is on track for history because, like you said, he just hits it where they ain't.
Yeah. And not even to mention, this is my favorite thing to look at, is intentional walks. Luis Arraez is leading the Marlins with 6, which I find entertaining because usually intentional walks are given out to guys who have historical power numbers who definitely can hurt you with the long ball and can guarantee essentially a run or more. Luis Arraez kills people with singles. Why just give him first base? They just don't want to see him win. They're hating on Luis Arraez.
Well, you could say that the argument there is, he's either going to hit a single or you're walking him. You might as well take the one route that he might not hit a single, like that he might not wind up on first base. Because it's not like you're it's not like you're we're either going to walk him and put him on first or he's going to hit a 3-run home run. No, it's like we're either going to walk him and put him on first or he's going to hit a single into right field.
Right, that's what I just said.
Right, but he's winding up on first either way, so you might as well take the route where he might ground out instead of hit a single.
Yeah, but he has six intentional walks.
Not like he's batting 1,000. No, I know he has 6 intentional walks, but that depends on runners on base.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely the runners on base thing. Especially with how this Marlins lineup is constructed. I feel like they have a good amount of guys who can just run. So
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of this Marlins lineup. Always ride with the boys down south.
Always.
It's been a thing all see. We've been saying it for the last year and a half. Always ride with the boys down south. This team is just performing to its fullest right now,
Mhm.
and it just makes me so happy. Like
The,
you have guys in this lineup. Soler had a yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. It got out in a hurry.
yeah.
The amount of guys that had 2 or 3 hits in this lineup yesterday is wild too. Uh, just everyone's performing higher than what was expected, and it's all working out for them. And it's great to watch. They have so many different options in different positions, and this is without Jazz Chisholm Jr., which he might be back somewhat soon,
Yeah.
which would be interesting to
Go
see how
Reds.
he go Reds.
Uh, Go Marlins. Sorry.
Wow, I was about to
Sorry.
say.
Who?
But yeah, I am interested to see how Jazz Chisholm Jr. fits into this lineup once he comes back, just because of how well they've been playing.
They might have
And
to platoon him.
I'm interested to see how well he plays. You know, I'm interested. So I don't know, Jazz Chisholm. Can we give a round of applause to the Miami Marlins?
Round of applause to the Miami Marlins, the boys down south. They know what they're doing.
The Marlins are currently in second place in the NL East, which they've sat for the last few weeks. 4.5 games back. And literally, it's not even because they've been losing. It's because the Braves have been winning just as much. So can't discredit the Marlins in that sense. I believe they have a series with the Braves coming up in around 2 weeks. So that is going to be a fun series. It's going to be an interesting one right before the All-Star break. Might determine who's in first place at that point. So
Certainly.
always ride with the boys down south.
Always ride with the boys down south.
What else you got from yesterday, or is there anything you want to talk about heading into today?
The Mets absolutely laid it down on the Astros. It was a good game, I will say, and of course, like I was
Good
told,
game for the Mets.
yeah, like I was told, somehow the Mets cannot beat what you would consider for the Mets low competition. But when it comes to playing the top of the heat teams, such as lineups like the Astros, they just figure out a way to produce. And yes, I know not right now, but they are honestly, even without Yordan Alvarez, they are still a very, very good lineup. I think the worst part about that game, in my opinion, was that I watched Hunter Brown get shelled, and if anyone has been listening since the beginning of the season or the beginning of the off season last year, Hunter Brown has been a massive conversation in my head, and who I've been trying to expel to the world that he's going to be very, very good.
Well, he did get shelled last night. Vogelback hit a homer off him, so
yeah,
not much else I can ask for. I saw Danny Berger's homer. I didn't care how the game went after that.
And Lindor got hot.
Lindor did hit a 3-run home run. Did he have any other hits?
Two-run double.
2-run double, yeah. So, but the 2-run double was in the ninth. They were going against this pitcher who I don't even know if I've ever heard of him. It was his third inning that he was pitching. Yeah. So have that as you will. I wanted to say, to one of the things you said, they could beat the top of the top teams. Can they beat the Braves?
Only one way to find out. Look, there's only one way to find out because I don't
Lewis,
think they can.
Lewis. It was already the answer is no. They didn't beat the Braves this season.
The Braves never lose.
They really can't beat the top of the top teams.
Right, but I'm saying that was just one of those things that strange to me. But we'll see how the rest of that series plays out.
Do we want to look ahead to today? A couple of today's headlines.
Whatever you want to do.
Do you have anything else from yesterday?
Not really. I am all set.
Yeah, like we said, there's not as many games going on. Yankees and Mariners start a series today. Yankees really need to get back on track. They are going to be getting Harrison Bader back, from what I've been seeing. They got George Kirby going against Garrett Cole, so that's going to be a pretty good pitching matchup if I had to guess. Yuri Perez pitching for the Marlins tonight. He's got a 1.8 ERA through his first, I think 8 or 9 starts, which is very, very impressive. The Royals continue to suck. Braves and Phillies.
Whoa! We don't talk about that team yet.
The Braves and Phillies are starting a series. That's going to be a fun series, especially because the Phillies have been hot recently. They're both on 6-game win streaks. Actually, that's the storyline there. Both on 6-game win streaks. The Phillies might be 8 games back, but a sweep could put them, only 5 games back. 6-game win streak right there, are both on the line. And that's really all I got. Nathan Eovaldi's pitching tonight. That's always fun. Verlander versus Framber Valdez in Houston. That's fun. Kershaw pitches tonight. Dodgers Angels start a series. Big LA series, especially because Dodgers have been and the Angels have been on fire. So, give me a fun day of baseball. And
Yeah.
that's it for me. That's all I got.
Let's throw baseball.
Let's go baseball.
Let's throw baseball.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing. If you enjoyed, make sure to share with your friends. Leave a comment on what we should talk about tomorrow or what you think about what we talked about today. And we will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. All right. Peace. Let's go baseball.